for example, Anne Sinclair in the Huffington Post. What she is concerned about is the level of vitriol and the rhetoric that he employed, which for her is simply not presidential language. It's not fitting of a man who held the presidential office. Also, the fact that he chose to come out with these declarations just a few days ahead of local elections is quite simply inappropriate. For her, it's important that politicians remain somewhat serene in the run-up to elections. Now, the rhetoric has been anything but serene in terms of the language that he used in that article, but also in the rebuttals from from government ministers, for example.
Well, it's a very good film, The Lives of Others, anyway.
Absolutely.
He's right
giving
to
a bit of PR for
give
it.
a bit of publicity where and it's due, in fact. Won an Oscar, too, for Best Foreign Language film, I think.
That's right.
Lots of ministers replying to those comments of Sarkozy's, the president calling them variously translated into English as unbearable, intolerable, unacceptable.
Right. That's right. Those were remarks that he made in Brussels. The French media, Les Echos, the business paper, picking up on that here. The Justice Minister, for her, she used the term, if I could find it, brutally humiliating remarks from Nicolas Sarkozy about the institutions of the French Republic, which the left, the socialist government, has tried to rehabilitate, according to her. She thinks it was in a worse situation under Nicolas Sarkozy. Elsewhere, the Interior Minister, he had very harsh words as well for the former president, saying that his remarks were libelous against judges and police officers. A lot of people pointing out too that Nicolas Sarkozy tried to abolish the role of the investigative judge when he was president. At least he looked into that. Now, France is an inquisitorial system, which means that the judge has a role in investigating cases. Nicolas Sarkozy looked into actually abolishing the role of the investigative judge. Now, there were valid reasons behind perhaps wanting to go down a different road with the judicial system, make it less administrative, etc. But a lot of people saying that there was self-interest involved too. Now, I think one of the more interesting aspects of all of this is the point that was made by Anne Sinclair, what people are going to think of the body politic just a couple of days ahead of local elections, when you have the right wing, when you have Nicolas Sarkozy making remarks like that totally undermine the institutions of the Fifth Republic, and then very harsh remarks from government ministers. What you have is remarks online such as this, tous pourris, they're all rotten. And indeed, Anne Sinclair made the remark that this could really benefit the fringe parties on the far right and on the far left. Now, just very briefly, worth mentioning that another man who made comparisons of investigations into him by judges, comparing it to the Stasi, was Silvio Berlusconi back in 2011. Some saying that Nicolas Sarkozy has perjured, or has, what would you say, Plagiarized, thank you. Silvio Berlusconi. So that's one cartoon there saying that we're all with Sarkozy.
Siamo tutti Sarkozy. I like that. It's very nice. And you mentioned all of this happening with, of course, local elections, the first round kicking off this weekend. And as part of the sort of campaign, some rather original efforts to woo the voters.
That's right. Anne Hidalgo, who's currently the deputy mayor, hoping to win the Paris City Hall for the Socialist Party, she has reached out to foreign residents in Paris. Of course, you don't have to be a French citizen to vote in local elections. So let's take a listen to how that came off in English, first of all, Tom.
On Sunday, you are deciding. On Sunday, you are deciding the future of Paris, no later than Sunday. I'm counting on you. Vote in your district for a Paris that dares on Sunday.
A Paris that dares. I think she means a Paris that dares. But, a daring attempt to go off, what would you say? Usually French politicians will only speak in French. She also spoke in Slovenian, Portuguese, German, 6 languages in total, including Italian. Let's take a listen to how her Italian sounds.
Domenica sarete voi a decidere per l'avvenire di Parigi. Da domenica conto su di voi. Votate la lista paricchiosa. La Parigi audace. Nel vostro per Parigi. A domenica.
Italian speaker Tom, how did that sound? Did that sound convincing?
I'm giving her the same score for English and Italian,
Okay.
and I'm going to volunteer my services.
So I thought her Italian was
I'll give her
fantastic.
5.5 out of 10, and 10 out of 10 for effort.
For effort, there you go. Now, just very briefly, a couple of tweets on that. Some people, probably political opponents, saying, hold on a minute, I don't think you are allowed to use any other language other than French when you are, operating in the political system. Is there an electoral, from the electoral code, is there another language apart from French that you can use? Anyway, look, she's probably maybe bending the rules, but it is quite charming.
I thought it was very charming indeed. Yes.
All
and
right.
and I think she's got some evening classes perhaps lined up for next time.
Quite possibly.
Thank you very much indeed, James Cruden. That was Media Watch. It's time now for Focus here on France 24 and that crisis in